Wait on you. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Can I sit down for a second?
I don't want that behind my back.
All right, I see a couple people here.
What's up, Steve?
Wait for Jesse. How you guys doing?
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Happy Friday. It's a crazy one.
Yeah, to say the least, Steve.
All right, we're going to start here in just a minute. Let everybody get in. Hopefully our Zoom doesn't crash. I know everybody in the world's using Zoom right now. Jesse.
Yo, how's everybody doing?
All right, we are recording. How you doing, buddy?
I'm having fun. You guys having fun?
Whole bunch of fun, Jesse.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
All right, so we're going to get started. I'm going to mute everybody except Jesse and I, just so I don't lose my train of thought. I have the focus of a dust mite. So, all right. So
my phone is silenced. I'm good to go.
All right. So I know everybody here. I know everybody that's here, and everybody except Jesse and I are, let's see. Yeah, all of us are pretty new. All you guys are pretty new in the business. And I will say this is kind of an unprecedented scenario that we're in right now. I know everybody's kind of on lockdown or whatever the hell's going on for the next 2 weeks. It's bizarre, but life goes on, and I'm still working. I'm still doing my, all right, make sure everybody's muted here. 1 second. All right, there we go. Okay, so life goes on, business goes on. If you guys want to know what I'm personally doing, I'm making 42 contacts a day, which is insane. I've had a few extra hangups today. People hanging up on me that just don't want to talk, but I've also had a lot of people that want to, they're just sitting at home bored as hell. And if you know me, what I do, I start out in the morning calling expired, canceled, for sale by owners. I go right down the list. And then I start to call the follow-ups that I've called, that I'm supposed to follow up with. I have those in a calendar. And what I've been doing recently this week is I've also been reaching out to my past clients. And this has been recommended by multiple people that I work with and follow as the thing to do right now. So we're not going to stick to the script, so to speak, today as far as going over the business plan. we're actually going to send out a form to you guys over the weekend for next week. Between now and let's say Monday or Tuesday at the latest, you'll get an email with a form that is going to be something that you can fill out for a business plan. And it's going to be real simple. It's going to have line items. You're going to put how many deals you want to do over the next 12 months. And you're going to want to fill in some other information, but we'll help you fill in the blanks next week. And it's basically a formula to get you where you want to be in the next 12 months. So right now, what are top producing agents doing with all this craziness going on, and how's business out there? I can personally tell you that I know for a fact, because I know one of the top guys at Showing Time, they sent out the report. Showings are down 30% right now, year over year this last week. So there's a 30% slowdown in the number of showings. And I expect that may, it may dip a little bit more. I don't know over the next week. It may not. But I've also had one deal go under contract in the last 24 hours, one listing. And, those people are going to be looking for a house to put under contract. So business is still happening. Whether or not that remains that way for the next week, I don't know. And I do care, but I really don't care. It's not going to take me out of my work mode. So like I said, what I've been doing, 42 contacts a day, which is a little bit higher than usual. I'm increasing my contacts per day because of this situation. And I'm also increasing the number of database and past clients that I'm talking to. So let's go to that. The easiest, quickest way that you guys can get to this point or get started is to, and I know I've said this 100 times, but this is the most important part of your business, develop your database past client list. You're sitting at home, you can't go out, whatever. This is a perfect time to kind of get organized, get your database list together, start thinking about people that you know. You want, in the way that you develop a database is a couple of ways. The first thing is you want to look at your phone. Jesse, why don't you go to the memory jogger?
Okay, let me.
So the memory jogger is in the website. I would suggest everybody go print this out if they haven't already. I'm going to do this as well and start adding people to my database. Top producers typically add anywhere from 5 to 10 people a week or a month. A lot of them do a week to their database. The rule of thumb is for every person you have in your database, you should be able to do about a 10% return.
Someone have a question?
Deals. We'll take questions here in a little bit. I'm going to just go over some stuff and then we'll do questions. So the more people you have in your database, hypothetically, if you're following up with them 4 times a year minimum, the more deals you're going to have. And it works out to about, if you're following up with them, it works out to about 10% of the number of people in your database. So if you have 100 people in your database right now, and you're following up with them through phone call, text message, mail, any one of those 3 or a combination of those 3, at least 4 times a year, you should be able to get about 10% or 10 deals out of that database. And I know everybody here knows at least 100 people. If you use this memory jogger, and Jesse, why don't you just go through the memory jogger and just point out some key areas that maybe we don't think about all the time, people we interact with or whatever that we can talk to.
So you have a lot of categories of people that you know in your phone, or they may not be in your phone, but you can go back and think. Obviously, you probably have close family and friends. Those people will refer you business, but believe it or not, they'll refer somebody else if you don't call them. Your own mom will hire somebody else if you don't call them. Believe it or not, I've heard stories of that. So call your close family and friends. Then people you already do business with, that you already give them money. Why not make it reciprocal? So your doctor, your CPA, anybody that you conduct business with personally or in your real estate business. Next category would be like your former fill in the blank, your former clients, your former boss, a former roommate, classmates, a coach, anybody that you have, maybe you don't have an existing relationship like strong today, but there's somebody that likes you, they know you. Start putting those names down. Then anybody that you have a hobby with, maybe it's a buddy that you go fishing with, or you go hiking with, or you go to the gym with, anybody that's a hobby buddy, put those down. And then who sold you something, right? Again, these are people you've done business transactions with. Maybe you hired them to do your plumbing or to fix, your do your landscaping, do anything. Those are people that you already have a relationship with. They probably liked you. They sold you something. You sold them something. Write those people down. Then an easy one is your phone list and your social media list. Everybody here, the average person has 150 people on their social media profiles. So right there, okay, maybe some of them you just said, okay, I'll accept their request. I don't really know them, but maybe you have 100 on there. That's an addition to, all these other people. You probably have 200 people you could contact and stay in touch with on a regular basis. And so the memory jogger is kind of broken down in these categories along the left side, family and friends. And we go deep on this, like even your cousins, even your aunties, your uncles, go deep on that. And then who you did business with. We have
guys, let me just share a quick story on this. Cousins, we all have cousins, right? So a couple of years ago, one of my cousins, I found out, bought a house. I mean, they live, 45 minutes from here, whatever, in the area. One of my cousins bought a house, and apparently when they bought the house, they did not use a real estate agent. They just went to the listing and used the agent that was, listing the house. And long story short, the listing agent was she was also part owner of the house. Her husband did the rehab. They did a real shoddy job on the rehab. The house had mold. They didn't pull permits. It was an absolute mess. So who got stuck cleaning up the mess and picking up the pieces a few years later? I did. And I didn't even sell him the house. Why? Because I did not keep in touch with him. I think their excuse was, we thought you might be too busy, or we weren't really sure if you were still a real estate agent.
Wow.
Well, you sure, that I was now, right? I mean, so I spent probably, had 6 hours of my time, which, I track my time, and when I'm prospecting, my time, I'm worth over $500 an hour. And I'm just saying that because I know by tracking my time over the last 7 years. So, I spent a lot of time trying to clean that mess up, and it was all because I wasn't doing my job. I'm not blaming him. I'm not blaming any of my family. I'm blaming myself. So now I include every family member, every cousin that's in the area, that knows people in the area, on that list. I talk to them 4 times a year, like it or not. If you want to have a successful, repeatable business, you have to talk to your database 4 times a year minimum. Go ahead, Jesse.
Yeah. So once you do this, you're going to break them up into segments. Okay. And this will be like what this does is kind of determines the type of conversation you're having with people. So obviously an active lead is a different type of conversation you're having with, your mom. And believe it or not, when I say call your mom, they don't take that seriously. Ask your mom and your parents and family for business. But you have a different conversation with them than you would like a past client. Hey, just how's the house going? If you're calling a past client, you're find a form of connection with them, whoever they are. So divide them up into segments. And then of course the memory jogger top 50 would be, who are the most likely people to refer you business, you think, like in the next 90 to 120 days?
Yeah, you want to have a top 50. Definitely have a top 50.
And you'll call them more often, right, Steve? How often would you say call the top your 50?
I call the top 50 at least every 2 months, sometimes once a month.
Yeah.
So don't get too analytical about this, guys. The most important thing is put everybody and anybody on that list. And the way that you want to organize that, I don't know if we have a slide for the next part as far as organizing it. This is kind of along those lines, but
yeah.
The way, when I say organize it, you want to make sure that you have their name, their full name, first and last name, their mailing address, their phone number, and their email address. And you know what? You're not going to have all of those for every single one of them. But you know what? That's also a really good reason for you to reach out to those people.
Yes.
So you can reach out to those contacts that you don't have all the information, and you can ask them, hey, John, I know it's been a while since we talked. I just want to touch base. How's everything going? Great. You know, I was updating the most important people in my database with all the correct contact information. I just wanted to double check. Do you still live at 123 Main Street? Is that your mailing address? Okay, perfect. And the email address I have is blah, blah, blah at .com. Is that right? Okay, great. And then this is the best number to reach you at. This is your cell phone, right? Okay, perfect. So that's just an excuse to reach out to them. And I guarantee if they say, screw you, I don't want to give you the information, take them off the list. And that's another thing. If you're not going to call the people and you're like, you're thinking to yourself, hey, Steve said to put all your cousins and this, that, and the other on there, but I freaking hate that bastard or whatever it is. Don't put them on there. If you're not going to call them and you don't like them, you know what it's going to do? It's going to mentally be a roadblock. When you start going through that list, you're going to say to yourself, I don't want to talk to that person. I don't want to talk to another, jerk on my list. You're going to take a break, and the next thing you know, you're not going to make the calls. So only put people on there that you're going to talk to or that you like or want to talk to.
I want to share something real quick. So I was sitting down with an agent the other day talking about EXP and, coming on board. And I started helping him with this process. And he had the same hang up that a lot of people have, is they never actually sit down and do this because it's a painful process initially. Like, oh, I got to go through all my contacts. But this is probably one of the most valuable things you can do over the next year is actually get your database together. And so this guy, he was like hung up like, oh, but man, that's going to take forever. And no, just start doing it. Just start filling out this spreadsheet. Once you get, halfway through, you're like, wow, okay, I do got some people I can call and have a conversation with. So get that out of your head. If you do have it in your head that, man, it's going to be painful, just start. And when you start filling this up, you're like, okay, I do have a real estate business database. I didn't think I did, but I actually do. So I helped him get through that process. And now he's got a full spreadsheet to make calls. Steve, so real quick, I want to go back to what you were saying about what are the conversation we should be having that's very relevant to like this month, this week.
Good question, Jesse. I'm glad you brought that up. So I have been, real time here. I've been calling my database. I've talked to about 10 of them today. Excuse me, 10 of them today already. And believe it or not, this is a really, really, really good time to reach out to your database. And what I've been saying is I literally have a script here just because I don't have a very good memory. And I say, hey, the last one was Shaker is his name. Shaker, how you doing, man? And he knows who I was. He knows my phone number. He sold a house and bought a house last year. It was good. How you doing? I said, hey, I just wanted to touch base with you and see how you're making out with everything going on. And he, oh yeah. I mean, it's, crazy. We're on lockdown, blah, blah, blah. And that's it. That's all I asked him. I said, how are you guys making out with everything going on right now? And he kind of tells me, I said, yeah, I just wanted to touch base and, make sure that, you and your family are safe and, okay out there. And, just check in with you. And then naturally what they're going to say is they're going to say, yeah, and how's everything going with you? So I want to make it clear to everybody here, this is not a time to call your database and ask them for business. Okay. Don't do it. Yeah. But this is a time to reach out to them and show that you care and just ask them how they're doing. And I'm finding that 75% of the time they'll ask, how's everything going with you? How's business? And I tell them, I said, right now I have about 9 or 10 properties that are under contract that are supposed to close in the next couple of weeks. I'm hoping that everything goes okay with those. I have been getting showings on listings, but it's been a little bit slow, slower than usual. But you know, we're still in business here, so it's okay. I appreciate you asking. Great. And then you just end the conversation at some point. You don't have to do the typical, Shaker, I was just wondering as well, while I have you on the phone, who do you know that's thinking about buying or selling in the next 2 to 3 months that I can help out? I'm not asking that question right now. So if there's ever been a time, what's that?
They're going to remember when you call them the next time. They're like, this is the guy that called me when everybody was going crazy just to check on me. He didn't ask for business. They're going to remember that.
Yeah, absolutely. This is not just coming from me, Knucklehead Steve. This is coming from some high level agents out there and some high level coaches that I've talked to in the last week. They're all doing this. So this is the best thing that you can do right now to get on the top of their mind as somebody that cares. And when things do smooth over here in the next, couple weeks, months, whatever it is, they're going to remember that. And if they don't, it's okay, because you're going to call them again anyway in a couple, months. So it's a really important thing to do right now. If there's anything else, if there's nothing else that you do, that would be the most important thing.
Yep.
Jesse, what else were we talking about? One of the other things I'm doing that I never have time to do is I've also got a bunch of real simple little, I don't know if you can see them here. It's just a postcard, and I actually put them in an envelope. It's basically a thank you note. So I'm making it a goal over the next 2 weeks to send out 200 of those. So, it maybe takes me probably about 20 minutes to write out maybe 10 of those. So each day I'm writing out 10 of those notes, and I'm going to put them in the mail. I'm not going to put them all in the mail today. I'm going to wait until middle of next week and throw them in the mail. Just touch base with my clients and let them know that, hey, it's still, we're still in business here. If you have any questions about the upcoming tax season, if you need your, tax, your closing statement or whatever. And that's something that you could also do, is you could send out the closing statement if you had any past clients that closed in the last year.
You can also,
haven't already done their taxes.
You let them know that they just pushed the tax date back to July 15th. That's a good reason. Another little thing is, again, you're not asking for business. You're like, hey, also, just so you know, they did push the taxes back, but I can send you a statement. You want to be a human, be helpful, be genuinely caring about people, Be their resource too.
I haven't had time to research it, but I have, my accountant has approached me and said, hey, he goes, you want to take advantage of this small business loan that, the administration has given out? I said, I don't know. Tell me about it. There's like $7 billion of business loans that are going out right now, through the government, that if you have a small business like we do, and that's another thing we'll talk about down the road. If you guys don't have like a C Corp set up for your business, I always would recommend that. You really need to talk to an accountant about that to make sure you do it correctly. But, I'm classified as a business. So, there's money out there for your clients. If they run their own business and they're going to be out of work for 2-3 weeks, or business is going to be at a standstill, why not take advantage of that if they need to? So, be the resource, gather some information in your area about some of the services that, or some of the help that's out there, and maybe send them a list of some of the things that they could, some resources that they can grab onto if they need them.
On that note, as a total side note, next week I'm going to do a quick little tech training. If anybody needs help with working from home virtually, I figure EXP people are a little more savvy than the average agent about working from home and using technology and using resources to run your business. Let me know. I'm gonna schedule some type of training next week, so you guys are on top of how to virtual open houses, all that kind of stuff. Making sure everybody's aware of how to do that.
Yeah, there's some really interesting things going on right now, guys. And I'm just we just got about 5 minutes, and then I'll wrap it up and let you guys ask questions. Over the next week, Jesse's going to do his tech thing, and we're also going to get everybody's anybody that wants to work on their business plan for the next 12 months, we're going to send out a form that you guys can start filling out, and we'll go over how to set up the business plan, how I've done it for the last 7 years, and fill in the blanks there. And then anybody that, if you guys really want to take this serious and you really want to be proactive in this whole process, anybody that emails me their database between now and next Wednesday, I'll take a look at it and, just help you out with that a little bit. So if you want to get some brownie points with me, send me your database. All that stuff helps keep me accountable too. I mean, you might have somebody on there that, that jogs my memory about, some service provider I'm not talking to. So do that, get your database, work on your database, write some letters to some of your clients or database, and make sure you have that list ready to go over the next week.
So the memory jogger is at extremeagentsvip.com. If you guys haven't created a login there, down on the left-hand side, there's, if you're on a desktop, it's on the left-hand side. If you're on mobile, scroll down to where it says resources. There's a button. You click on that, you're going to create your own login for the membership area. Inside that membership area has the memory jogger and other resources. I think there's a handful of things in there right now. I have a bunch of things that I'm still finishing, polishing them up, taking my personal stuff off of it and making it more generic so everybody can use it. So there'll be more stuff being added in there, but extremeagentsvip.com. And you can get the memory jogger, scripts, and some other things. So that'll become a nice library here in the coming months as we go through all the steps. Okay.
And lastly, before we go to questions and answers, if any of you, everybody here on this call is in our group here at EXP, everybody on this call is with EXP. That's great. If any of you ever have an agent, this is a good time to reach out to agents too, because everybody's sitting around twiddling their thumbs. 90% of them aren't doing crap. Okay. Call them and, introduce yourself and just say, hey, here's the way that I talk to agents when I'm trying to bring them over to EXP. The first thing that I do is when I talk to them, I say, hey, I compliment them. Hey, Jesse, I've really admired watching your career over the last, several years. Seems like every time that I send a search out to my clients, your name pops up as one of the listing agents. And, I just wanted to say that I've always really admired what you do. And I just thought I would, wanted to ask you a couple of questions. Do you have a minute? And they'll say, okay, yeah. And then what you do is you go into, you say, I'm with a company now, EXP Realty, and it's really revolutionary. It's really, taken the industry by storm. Have you heard much about it? Blah, blah, blah. Well, yeah, I have. I don't really, know a whole lot though. What you want to do then is invite them to a meeting. And what you can do is you can access me or anybody else in the group. So what I'd like you to do is to set up a meeting so you can get them on a Zoom call with myself, the potential prospect, and myself, and we can go over the EXP Explained. Just invite them and say, hey, if I was able to get, one of my business partners to take 10 minutes or, a couple minutes and just go over the highlights of EXP, would you have time tomorrow at 1? And they'll say, hopefully they'll say yes. Well, if they say no, say, well, what about 4 o'clock? And if you guys give me 24 hours and just do a meeting in the afternoon, as long as it's not around one of these coaching calls or during one of these coaching calls, I'll probably be available. Just let me know and I'll make time to be available. So anytime you're recruiting somebody and you don't feel comfortable talking about EXP, or you don't feel comfortable with the recruiting process, but this person would listen, just access me, use me to help you. It's always good to collaborate. That's how I do it. That's how I did it the first 6 months. I would get somebody else on the phone that was in my upline or a business partner, we call it, to help with that process. So feel free to access me at any time for that. Okay.
Damn.
All right. Any questions? And I don't know how to unmute everybody.
I think they're on the little blue icons over each person. I think you might have a.
Yeah, I'll just unmute it. Oh, wait.
Hey,
I
can you
think
guys hear
can
me?
unmute yourself if you have a question. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Josh?
can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right, one thing I just want to add, if you are a newer agent, a big mistake I made with my database is I put all of my people into Keller Williams CRM. As you guys know, I came over from them. And then when I switched companies, I lost everything.
Wow.
So I have to restart my database from the beginning by making the mistake not to go ahead and actually put them into my own database as well. So that's just something I want to add for everybody in here. If you ever go through that, do not make the same mistake I did.
And Josh, I just want to interject there. The great thing about EXP is they don't give a crap about your database as far as taking your information. KV Core is not owned by EXP, and they don't have any control over your information in there. So if you put your database into KV Core like I did, you're always going to be able to access that information. In fact, I was at Remax previously, and I had all of my information in KV Core.
Mm-hmm.
I did not know that I should download that before I switched, keep it on a spreadsheet, but I was able to go back to KV Core and they gave me my contacts.
Oh.
So, but do keep your own spreadsheet of all of your database too. Wherever you put it, keep a spreadsheet and put it in Google Drive or something.
Yeah, and in fact, what I'll do is I'll take the PDF version of that memory jogger. I'll make a Excel spreadsheet so you guys can use it and type on it as well. So I'll add that to the membership area as well.
Boom.
So that way you have
Nice.
already organized.
Another reason EXP is better, guys. There you go.
All right. What other questions?
Can everybody unmute themselves? Are they able to?
You guys hear me? This is Rob.
Yes, sir. Hey, Rob. How you doing?
Hey, good. So quick question on the recruiting. So from that perspective, could you technically put out something in your Facebook crowd that says, interested in EXP, give me a call, give me an email, give me a shout, whatever. Or would that, when it comes to other agents at other agencies, consider that being a poaching perspective? Or how would folks look like that if I were to just throw something out on Facebook with all of my friends who are real estate agents and other agencies?
That's a great question, Rob. If you go, first of all, I'd like to say there is a best practices or rules and everything with all that stuff, and that would be in Workplace, the Facebook group. And if you can't find that, just email me. I'll send you a copy of it. But to give you a direct answer, you'd be fine by doing it that way. Just, saying, hey, if you have a question about EXP or you want to switch brokerages, give me a call.
Yeah.
EXP does it already. I mean, that's, you're not, as long as you're not spamming somebody, in other words, as long as you're not just taking a random list of emails and spamming a bunch of people, which, a lot of agencies do that to me all the time anyway. But as long as you're not doing that and a couple other little rules, you're fine. But yes, you could do that.
Okay.
Yeah, if you go to explore.exp.com there and you click on agent attraction, there's a pledge with those guidelines that Steve just talked about.
Is Pushkar on right now? Jesse, could you maybe email that PDF to Pushkar, or Pushkar could take that and email it to everybody that's on the call?
Okay, I will.
Thank you. Jim, I could tell you're dying to ask me a question.
I was just going to say I had trouble getting into the site, the Extreme site. And I know I set it up, Jesse and Steve, because I got some of the information out the other day. But
I'll help you.
I'll help you. There's no way. It doesn't look like I can, what do you call it?
Reset the password.
So.
Okay, I'll make sure you get back in.
Yeah, thanks. And I tried downloading that book. Is it only on Kindle right now? Do I have that right?
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, we'll have it in print. We're still working with the publisher for the
formatting,
so we'll have that in probably the next couple of days.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, if you guys, I think everybody here knows that we just had our book come out, and it is available now on Kindle. If any of you guys want it, you know, the 99 cents is going to go to, it's going to go to a charity called the Steve Merritt Human Fund. And I'm kidding. We are going to send all the money to charity. It's probably, you know, if we get 100 people to buy the book, we're going to be happy. But, you know, this really is what we're going to be talking about in a nutshell, you know, A to Z, what you need to do to create a business that, you know, that you can be proud of and make some money at. So it's, you know, it's all in the book. It's all in the blueprint, and it's 99 cents if you guys want to get it. So.
Yeah, we're going to be going. So a lot of these calls, we're going to go deeper on some of the concepts in the book. So over the coming weeks and months, we're going to dive deeper on prospecting and marketing and selling and sales psychology and NLP and all kinds of really good stuff to help your skill sets. So,
oh yeah. Also, I just want to tell everybody on this call, if you're not already attending the half hour, whatever it's called, with John Sy, that is on Wednesday at 1 p.m. Central. We had 80 agents on that call Wednesday, and John is, you know, he's a superstar agent up in Vancouver. He's in the top 10 agents in British Columbia. So he is, you know, he's there every Wednesday at 1 o'clock. We also have a couple other things that we do. I think there's an agent attraction thing on Tuesdays. You guys are all invited to that. That's all part of our group.
is that something, Steve, I can put probably in a link in the membership area for those events? Is there like a Zoom link or?
Yeah, if you go to the WhatsApp, it's in there listed, and the links are in there. So you could just like cut and paste it from there. Okay. So it's all in that WhatsApp.
Okay.
Mastermind group. But it's, you guys, I can't tell you how valuable that is. I mean, you know, I'm human and I was a little depressed this week, like, oh my God, all this shit going on, blah, blah, blah. And I got off of that half-hour call with John and saw those 80 people on there. And, you know, I hammered out 42. I was at one contact. I'm going to be honest with you. At that point, I was here in the office Wednesday night until 9 o'clock, and I made 42 contacts after that call. That's how motivated I got. So having the support of everybody else is a big deal. That's how I've run my business. That's how Jesse and I met, mastermind group through Mike Ferry Coaching. And that's what we're trying to help you guys do. I mean, I paid $1,000 a month. Jesse paid $1,000 a month to have Mike Ferry Coaching. And we also went to 2 or 3 events a year and probably spent another 10, 15,000. I probably spent more than that because I gambled, but in Vegas.
You know what? We've talked about this 100 times since the time we met. And the most valuable thing of any coaching program is the relationships and the insight you get from the community. It's not even the content of every call. It's actually bonding together, keeping your mind right. And like, hey, what are you doing right now? This is what I'm doing. This is working. Cool. Try it out. Like, you got this. You can do it. That is actually the most valuable part.
The motivation is seeing that there's other agents right now doing the same thing, either struggling or just working through it. And we're all in this together. Any of you guys ever need my support? You need John's support. You need Simone and Pablo or anybody's support in the group. We're here. So we want you guys all to be successful. And that's why we're doing all this stuff. We're not making any money off the 99-cent book. Okay. I can tell you that right now. We're doing this
70%
everybody else.
Amazon.
Yeah. Any other questions real quick? We'll end it here soon.
Everybody doing good? Yeah.
Everybody unmute that can. All right. I just want to make sure. Ed, what do you got?
None much. Just listening, catching up.
All right. Cool. Chanel, are you okay up there in Schaumburg? I unmuted you. Maybe not. I can't unmute her. There you go.
I'm good.
I know
Thank
you've
you.
heard the database thing like 3 times now. So how many people you have in your database, Chanel?
Still 100.
Oh
Same
my
as
God.
last time.
I think you should make it a goal between now and next Wednesday to add 25 more people to that.
I'm gonna try, but I did listen to John Stein's training. It was motivating. I saw
There
you
you
there
go.
too.
Very cool. Very cool. Yep. So you got a lot out of that. I know. That's awesome.
Yeah, every week. All these at this time, all the isolation, social isolating, and all that. The motivating videos really help.
Yep.
Good.
Very cool.
Thank you.
All right. Awesome, Shanella. Reach out if you
Cool.
need help. And then who else we got? Rob, Yogi, what do you got, buddy? You there? I unmuted you. How you doing? Maybe he can't talk right now. I hope you're alive and well there in Kansas City. I know you're alive because your phone's on, so that's good. That's a good sign. All right. So anybody, if there's no more questions, the action items for this call are going to be for Jesse and I are going to send you probably, we're going to set a deadline of by the end of the day, Monday, you're going to have a form or something you can fill out for a business plan. Okay. We're going to hold ourselves accountable to get that to you. And it'll also be on the website. And then between now and Wednesday, if anybody would like to send me their database Excel sheet, I promise you, I'm not going to steal it. Send that to me and I'll see what you guys have. And if somebody sends me one and it's got 10 people on it, I know they're struggling. I'll help you try to develop that and add to it. And who knows, maybe I have a list of people I could send you that are, warm leads that I haven't thought about for a long time. So anyway, I hope everybody stays safe and isolated and does something. Write some letters, write some notes, some thank you notes to your potential clients, your past clients, your database. They're going to like that. Everybody's sitting at home. I hope that the post office is still in business right now or working. Are they? I saw the mailman here.
They're
I can
essential
tell you
business.
right now, they're in front of my house. So
All right, good. So for now, you could still get mail out. So just send out a postcard to your friends and family.
I want to close with one last thing. I know we got like 2 minutes. I don't want to drag this out, but what we talked about the last call, for anybody that wasn't on the call, Steve shared what he does for his mindset. Write down gratitudes in the morning, write down some affirmations, and write down some goals. It can be simple. 3 affirmations, three gratitudes. Like I've been sitting down at the dinner table with my kids and they're 3 and 5. And I'm like, what are you grateful for today? Just sit down and be grateful. Write that down. Like, what are you thankful for today? Write those down and then some goals for the day, some affirmations. Share that with somebody. If you want to get some positive juice coming back to you, share that with somebody and let's keep our heads focused and straight and clear.
All right. Thanks a lot, guys. We'll talk to you all next Wednesday.
Yeah, thank you guys as well for taking your time out of the day to do this.
appreciate it.
Awesome.
Thanks,
You guys
guys.
have a great weekend. Touch
Thank
base
you.
with me if you need to. I'll be around.
Cheers. Be safe, everybody.